Hey, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Bojoul channel, the home of self-care, wellness, beauty, and any and everything that'll help you to become the greatest and most powerful version of yourself. You know why I love saying that? Because being the most powerful version of yourself is so dope. Like just the idea, what is the greatest version of me? You know what I mean? And to strive to be that person, whoever that person might be, is so dope for me. This is so dope. And I know for me, I'm striving every single day to get better, to get stronger, to be more clearer, you know what I mean? In what I want and what I want to do with my life. And the dopest part, right, is that I get to share it with you, right? I love it. This morning, I am having my warm, let me see, what I got in here? I got ginger, garlic, and lemons. I juice it in my juicer. At the beginning of the week, I put it in my little container, my little containers from the Dollar Tree. And every morning, I get warm water, pour it in there, and I'm sipping this morning. So that's good. That's good. So let's go. Today, I diverted from what I was gonna originally talk about today, but I'm gonna come back. I'll come back. But I just had sometimes little things come, and I have to be like, oh, I want to talk about that. Oh, especially if I know it relates to self-care. I'm like, I'll talk about that. So today, right, get right to it. I'm going to talk about, in terms of self-care, right, how it's so important for us to accept responsibility for our own actions. I always tell my kids, right, you have to reap the consequences for whatever it is that you do. That's a fact. And I remember telling them when they were younger, I told them when they were teenagers, and they're like, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear this. We don't want to hear that. And I'm like, you don't have to hear it. It's a fact. Certain things are so universal and so factual that whether you believe it or not, it's so. It is so. You do not have to believe that gravity is real. You don't have to believe that air is needed for you to live. You don't have to believe it. Certain things are just what it is. And so I always told them, you will reap the benefits or the results or whatever it is that you do, good or bad, for your actions. That's it. And so what I learned in self-care is that a lot of times we are where we are because we have failed to accept responsibility for our own actions. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation in your body, in your health, in your finances, in your relationships, in so many different things. You find yourself in a certain place, and it's not necessarily a place that you want to be, and you get mad at other people because you have made choices that you're not wanting to live up to. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is the Bible about the scripture about reaping and sowing. The Bible says, do not be deceived. For whatever a man is sowing, he will reap. That's across the board. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you are Jewish, whoever you are, if you are a human being on this planet, that's a fact. And so, as we move forward on our journey in self-care, right? There are decisions that you make that can alter the course of your life that can alter the course of your health, that can alter the course of everything that you're doing. But you have to own the responsibility for every single thing that you do. And that is what this conversation is about. Hold on one second. My phone is still the one. Cut it off. You have to own whatever you do. The responsibility, it's your responsibility. And until you start to accept that I did this, if you never accept the fact that you did something, you know what that means? You are not unable to change it. You are not in a position to change it because you didn't know it. You feel me? Until you begin to own it, it'll never change. I want to share a few points with you real quick of how to effectively accept responsibility for your actions. I know it may seem elementary, the conversation, but it's so important because as you move forward in self-care, your self-care journey, there are things that you will do that will serve you, and there are things you're going to do that may not necessarily serve you. But whatever it is, good or bad, you have to accept responsibility for it in order to even move forward. So here we go. That's good. Here we go. So, number one, I want you to understand the concept of responsibility. Responsibility is owning, responding to your own actions. Yeah? Responsibility is a response to your actions. You have to eat it. Hey, you understand? It involves acknowledging both the positive and the negative outcomes. Everything you do is not going to always have positive outcome. Some of it is going to be negative. Even if your intention were good, sometimes the outcomes are negative, and guess what? You have to own it. That's responsibility. You know how many times I make decisions and I'm coming from a good place and the results don't turn out as I desired them to? You have to own it. Only then can I change it. I like to be in control of as much as I can be in control with in my life. And me making a decision and it's not turning out the way I want it to turn out, and whatever those results are, I have to sit there and dissect it and sit in it and own it, right? So that's the first thing. You understand the concept of responsibility. Number two, reflect on your choices. Stop choosing so quickly to do certain things. Sometimes you need to pause for the cause. Pausing give you a chance to reflect and think about how this thing is going to affect me in the future. I'll give you a good example for me. Let me take a little sip break. Hey, that's good. Prime example. Let's say credit, right? When I was younger, I allowed people to use my credit. I signed for people. I did a lot of things using my credit, not understanding the very important significance of me establishing my own credit. I used it very carelessly, and as a result, I had to suffer a lot trying to get certain things, get qualified for certain things, and I couldn't get qualified for because I had already used my credit for somebody who had shown themselves to be irresponsible. Fast forward years later, I fixed my credit. I have great credit, thank God. I refuse to let anybody use anything, for any time, for any moment, for any second. Why? Because I already been there. I've been there and I done it. And it's nothing that nobody could do right now to get me to co-sign, to be a guarantor, to do anything like that. Why? Not because I'm being mean. I reflect on the choices and I understand the consequences of what that means. That's the thing too. Sometimes you'll make a choice and you don't really understand the consequence of that choice. Look at how many of our people are our friends or people that we know are incarcerated. A lot of guys, a lot of women are incarcerated because they made choices that they did not have to take the time to reflect on what does this mean? What are the possible scenarios of this choice? When it comes to your self-care, all of those things matter. You making a choice that's going to impact you for years to come, you think that ain't going to affect your self-care? That ain't going to affect your journey? That's not going to affect your peace? That's not going to affect the harmony that you're trying to establish in your life? Really? When you have to reflect on your choices before you make them. See what door A, door B, door C is going to look like. Stop just jumping into stuff. 3, own your own mistakes. When you make a mistake, own it. And be quick to say, I am sorry. Don't try to deflect the blame on other people, right? I made a mistake. And as perfect as people would like to make themselves seem, we all make mistakes. It's just that as you get older, you try to if you make a mistake, at least do your due diligence and calculate door 1, door 2, door 3, and choose the best possible direction to go in. But even in our best intention, with our best intention, we all make mistakes. And own it when you do. That's all. Owning your mistake, first of all, it shows you to be human. And it shows you to be not so full of yourself that you can humble yourself and say, yo, I fumbled that. Michael Jordan, as great as a basketball player as he was, he fumbled the ball sometimes. He made mistakes sometimes. He did. Nobody's perfect. Number 4, and I think this is one of the most powerful ones about owning, taking responsibility for your actions. Learn from your experiences. Learn how many times do you have to run into a brick wall before you realize it's going to break your hand open? How many times do you have to do that? How many times I got to run into this same brick wall before I realize this wall ain't going to move? It's going to rip me apart before I get through it. You have to learn from your experiences, good or bad. That's why sometimes mistakes are not always the worst thing, especially if they're not so costly. But it's not the worst thing because especially with our mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. You learn what to do, what not to do, how to gauge it, you get what I'm saying? You know, I learned literally how to cook by burning stuff up. Seriously. I messed up so much food. I messed up so many great ingredients. I done spent hundreds of dollars in a grocery store to come to this house and burn it up or mix it up so disgustingly nobody could even eat it. But over time, over years, guess what? I'm a pretty great cook. Because now I can because of my experiences I learned, I know how not to put too much salt or how to blend things to perfection or how to bake it. And I can look at the oven with my eye and see when it's right there, but it's not quite there. I can manage certain things without even using a cup manner. So like just my hand, I can look at it, eye it, that's enough, that's enough. From mistakes. I got that from mistakes. I know what basil and cardamom and dill and parsley and coriander. I know those tastes. I know how to blend those tastes together that certain things will overpower it because of my mistakes. I know now when I meet people, I don't just give them full access to my life, whoever they are. I know when I meet people now that I keep a little more quiet and I observe more than I speak. Why? Because experience have shown me that if you don't know someone, you let time pass and you let their relationship evolve. Don't ever try to force a relationship to happen. You let that thing evolve. Let the chips fall in the places that they have to fall. That's from experience I learned. I don't have to keep doing it over and over again to know. I really don't. I really, really don't. Right? I would go deeper in that one, but I ain't even gonna get crazy. I ain't even gonna get crazy with that, but you get my point. You get what I'm saying. Like, certain things you've done that you've made egregious errors. You do not have to repeatedly do it to understand that I can't keep doing it. What did I say? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is what? Insanity. Like, stop it already. Number 5, practice accountability. Practice accountability. Like, when you say that you're going to do something, do it. Like, I come from an era, right? I come from an era where your word is your bond. If I say I'm going to do something, by jingles, by George, I'm going to do it. That's it. And if I cannot do it, I'm going to provide a legitimate reason why on earth I cannot do it. And if at all possible, I'm going to send a replacement. I'm going to send a replacement to help me to do it. You understand? I'm going to send a replacement to help me to do, right, what I initially set out to do. Because I still, like, no matter what, even if circumstances make it so that I can't do it, because you honor and you practice accountability, that no, I got to get it done. Yo, can you go do XYZ for me if possible? Can you, whatever you got to do. And this is the last one I'm going to share on accepting responsibility. Apologize and make amends. Apologize. Some people have the hardest time saying that I am sorry and I apologize for my actions. One thing I learned, and I learned this years ago from a very special gentleman. I don't name names. But they said to me one time when I used to say that I'm sorry, I used to say, I'm sorry, but you know, da-da-da-da, or I'm sorry, but this, that, and that. They said, you know that every time you say but, you literally erase everything you just said prior to but. But is the human eraser, it said. When you offer an apology, there is no but, and there's no and. When you offer an apology, it is, I am sorry, and I apologize for my actions. Period. Not but, not and, not comma, not semicolon, not ... No, because that's not an apology. You don't offer an apology with a writer, with a what do you call it? A writer document. Like it's an additional document to the document. No. Apologize and make amends when you falter. Genuinely take actions to make amends when you have faltered. Don't be so prideful. I find that if a relationship is important enough, or if a business relationship is important enough, you will do whatever you have to do to make amends in that relationship, and that's just a fact. Whatever you have to do to make it right, you make it right. That's it. That is all. That's how you accept responsibility for what you do. You have to be accountable. Whatever you eat, you gotta go use the bathroom with that. I don't. Whatever you eat, hot, spicy, if it upset your stomach, it upset your stomach, not mine. What I eat, I have to go use the bathroom in an extra minute out. Yes? Own your stuff. Take responsibility for your actions. You will never move forward on your self-care journey if you blame everybody for where you are. Where you are right now is a result, is a sum total of the decisions that you have made. It is choices that you have made. Own it. It hurts, yes. It's uncomfortable, yes. But that is the whole point. Pain is one of the greatest liberators. And it's the greatest teacher. When you're in a place of pain and you're struggling and you're going through some things, you become very creative, and you become very resourceful because you want to get yourself out of that situation. And only until you sit in where you are can you ever really emerge from it. Stop shifting the blame. Stop moving back and forth. Stop, you know what I mean? Like, just, it is what it is. Made a mistake, sorry, I'll apologize. And until you begin to do this, moving forward in your self-care journey is going to be virtually impossible. Because you're not going to do it right all the time. You're all going to crash and burn sometime. But you own it, you get back up, you keep pushing. Whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your food choices, whatever it is, nobody's going to be 100. But the whole idea is that it's a journey. It's a journey. Hello? Any journey you take, you got to take pit stops. You got to gas up. Things happen. You might get a flat tire on the journey. Your engine might blow. You may, whatever. Same thing with our self-care journey. So just your responsibilities. Take responsibility for your actions. I thank you so much today for listening. I appreciate you. I really, really do. I'm so excited. I really am so excited to be here, to be able to share with you. This is the Bojoul channel. This is the Bojoul channel, baby. Home of self-care, wellness, beauty, and every and any doggone thing that'll help you to become the most elevated person that you can be. And please do remember, if you've heard anything, you like anything, please share it, like it with your friends, family. Just encourage them, whatever the case may be. Each one teach one. Share it, put it out, put it out, put it out. I appreciate you. I thank you for listening. And please do remember that self-care surely is the best care. Later.